So, ladies and gentlemen, now people under the age of 30 will have to bear with me here. If I told you there was a box office hit in the early 1980s starring Sylvester Stallone in a soccer movie with Michael Caine and Max von Sydow and Pele, no, I wouldn't be on drugs. This movie is possibly going to be remade in the short term. There's been announcements since 2019. We're going to talk today about a movie that I figure, for what it is, it gives entertainment to the soccer genre, the World War II genre. It's called Escape to Victory. Now, it was directed by the incomparable John Huston, produced by Freddie Fields with a screenplay by Evan Jones and Zabu Zablonsky. It was based on the book Two Halftimes in Hell by Zoltan Fabry, and music by Bill Conti, and great cinematography by the underrated Jerry Fisher. Now, this was distributed by Paramount with Lauren Marr, the people that brought you Dallas as the production company. It cost $10 million to make, which was still kind of cheap for the early 1980s, and made almost three times its budget at the box office. One of the biggest box office hits of 1981 with 27.5 million. Now, internationally, it was called Victory, but in States, uh, mostly Escape to Victory. Now, it was an American sports movie. Now, bear with the plot here. The film is about Allied prisoners of war who were interned in a German prison camp during the Second World War, who play an exhibition match of football against a German team. Now, the movie got great attention upon its theatrical release because it starred numerous professional football players, besides Pelé, including Bobby Moore, Ardellis, Kenya, Peter Van Imps, Mike Summerby, Torrenson, Winter Rolfe, and numerous Ipswich town players, which were kind of an elite squad at the time. Now, several Ipswich town players stood in for actors in the football scenes, including Kevin Beatty for Michael Caine and Paul Cooper for Sylvester Stallone. Now, the Stallone in there has to be explained, but I'm going to get to it in a few seconds. Now, Yablonsky wrote the script, and the film was entered in the 12th Moscow International Film Festival, so it was internationally recognized before it came out. Now, the basic plot is the team of prisoners, coached by English captain John Colby, played by Kane, who played for West Ham before the war, agreed to play an exhibition match against a German team, only to find himself involved in a German propaganda stunt. Now, Colby is the captain, team manager, and chooses his squad, which is sort of like longest yard, little bit of typical let's do it for the boys kind of Hollywood movies of the 40s. Now he ends up crossing paths with someone called Robert Hatch, an expat American who was serving with the Canadian Army, who was not initially chosen, but eventually nags the reluctant Colby into letting him on his team as the team's trainer, as Hatch needs to be with the team to facilitate his upcoming escape attempt. Uh, Colby's superior officers repeatedly try to convince him to use the match as an opportunity for attempt, but Colby refuses, fearing that such an attempt will only result in getting his players killed. Meanwhile, Hatch has been planning his unrelated escape attempt, and Colby's superiors agree to help him if he, in return, agrees to journey to Paris, make contact with the French resistance, and try to convince them to help the football team escape. Now, lot is going on in this 2 hour movie, and Max von Sydow is well in it as well. So a lot of subplots and the beautiful, stunning Canadian actress Carol Law plays one of the main francophone resistant helpers in the movie. She's very luminous in this movie. But again, uh, any movie that has Michael Caine, Max von Sydow, Stallone, a whole bunch of important soccer players. I don't want to give away the plot too much, but you can pretty well figure how this is going to go. It comes down to the big game, and typical Rocky meets soccer. A lot of people underrated this movie, but when they went to see it, one reviewer in England said, "Well, how many times you're going to see the best of the World Cup and British Senior League or Premier League in action in a movie and playing themselves?" Now, some of like the Pele character, different characters of Latino or Black descent are not really representing their home countries because obviously Brazil didn't enter the Second World War until late. There's kind of no explanation. There's some plot holes, but like generally, it's a very, very interesting movie. Now, the majority of the movie doesn't have any heavy dialogue, so it appeals well in French or what do you call German or Dutch translations. I remember this being shown on ATV, which was the CTV affiliate in the Maritimes in the early 80s. And I saw it in English, I saw it in French. And again, like I said, it's a quality movie. It's not the greatest cerebral film of all time, and, but it's the musical score, not to say it's a ripoff of the Leningrad Symphony, but some of the stuff would be referred to in Conti's future work, including the right stuff where he was taken from established music and kind of slipped in it on his own. Now on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a score nearly 70, Metacritic was 60, so again, middle of the road. And there's aspects of this in Bridget will require Great Escape, the British soccer movies of the late 70s, early 80s. There's aspects of Rocky. There's aspects of the great World War II movies that Michael Caine and Lee Marvin, all the great actors were in from the Dirty Dozen until the early 80s. Aspects of A Bridge Too Far, aspects of the longest day, the Walper style. Like I said, it's a highly interesting movie. If you would take the best episode of World at War, narrated by Laurence Olivier, take some aspects of Rocky and The Great Escape and all these movies, put it all together. And like I said, the box office was there. It made almost three times its cost, which is comparable now if the movie was 50 million, made 150 million. For what it is, the poster art was great, by the way, using the different versions, language versions of the word victory to merge the poster and the uplifted fist and the V for victory. If you look at the poster that's being demonstrated in the podcast, it's quite interesting. It's like I said, and the key line, now is the time for heroes. I mean, the marketing was great. Lorimar and Paramount were always known about that. They could produce a very marketable movie. Again, it's a very simple plot, and and another thing too, Max von Sydow, to my memory, didn't do many war films during that era. But seeing also not say a young Pele, but a very vigorous Pele, I think at the time he might have been in his mid 30s, give or take. Tremendous. Like I said, seeing Bobby Moore too. A lot of my British friends, remember Moore fondly as a great elite player. So again, if you had a VCR, you could probably find a VHS tape of this. Not sure it's on Laserdisc. I've seen it promoted on Laserdisc before. You might be able to find it on DVD and import, maybe a multiple region. I know for sure if Lorimar did a lot of DVDs, cheapo DVDs, in the early 1990s, mid 1990s, you could probably still find it. Again, the last time I saw Victory video release was a VHS, and again that mini poster style in the front, like I said, tremendous. And I think there also was collectibles from this. Am I thinking sports cards or some kind of inserts? Anyway, if you love soccer and if you love the last golden era of international soccer, this is for you. And if you're a Michael Caine fan like I am, there's never a bad Michael Caine movie. Only a bad script in a Michael Caine movie. And Stallone is a Canadian Army soccer player who plays the net with a bad shoulder. I mean, come on, you know, you know, don't get any better than that. Have a good day. Happy midweek, everybody. Bye.